Welcome to our relaxing narration. Here, you will enjoy a calm story to help you learn English through listening. Imagine the gentle waves of the sea, the soothing sound of water, and let the story take you on a peaceful journey. Relax, listen, and let your mind drift as you improve your English in the most calming way. Chapter 1: The Mysterious Key. It was a quiet afternoon when Emma and her little brother, Jack, decided to explore the attic. The attic was dark and dusty, with old boxes stacked high against the walls. "Do you think we will find any treasure here?" Jack asked, his eyes wide with excitement. Emma smiled. "Maybe. Grandpa always said there are secrets hidden here." They climbed over the boxes and opened old chests, looking for something interesting. After a few minutes, Emma spotted something shiny under an old blanket. "Jack, come here," she called, pulling away the blanket. Underneath, there was a small silver key. It looked very old, with strange symbols carved on it. Jack's eyes grew even wider. "Wow, that must open something really cool." Emma nodded, turning the key in her hands. "But what could it open?" They looked around the attic, trying to find something with a lock. There were so many boxes and trunks. "Maybe it's for a hidden door," Jack said, his voice full of wonder. Emma laughed softly. "Maybe, but we need to find it first. Let's keep looking." Suddenly, they heard a noise. It sounded like a creak, as if something was moving behind them. They both turned quickly, their hearts beating faster. "Did you hear that?" Jack whispered. He looked a little scared, but also curious. Emma took a deep breath and nodded. "Yes, it came from over there." She pointed to the far corner. They carefully moved toward the corner, stepping over old photo albums and dusty books. In the corner, they found an old wardrobe. It was big and made of dark wood. Emma tried to open the doors, but they were locked. She looked down at the key in her hand. "Do you think this is it?" Jack asked, his voice shaking a little with excitement. Emma smiled and carefully put the key into the lock. It fit perfectly. She turned the key, and the lock clicked open with a soft sound. It worked. Jack shouted, jumping up and down. Emma slowly opened the doors, and they both gasped. Inside, there was a staircase leading down, hidden behind the wardrobe. It looked dark and mysterious. Jack looked at Emma. "Are we going down there?" Emma took a deep breath. "Yes, let's see where it leads." Holding hands, they took the first step into the darkness, ready for the adventure to begin. Chapter 2: The Hidden Passage. Emma and Jack took one cautious step after another, moving deeper into the darkness. The stairs creaked under their feet, and the air was cool and damp, carrying a faint smell of earth. Jack held onto Emma's hand tightly. "I wonder where this leads," he whispered. Emma squeezed his hand reassuringly. "We'll find out soon," she said, trying to sound brave. At the bottom of the stairs, they found themselves in a narrow hallway. The walls were made of rough stone. "Look at this." Jack pointed at the walls, where old pictures and carvings were faintly visible. Emma took out her flashlight and shone it on the carvings. They showed strange symbols and scenes. "These look like stories," she said, tracing her fingers over the shapes. "Maybe they tell us where this place goes." Jack nodded, his eyes wide with wonder. "Maybe it's a secret hideout," he said excitedly. They continued down the hallway, their footsteps echoing softly. The passage seemed to go on forever. Suddenly, they came to a large wooden door. It was covered in dust, with an iron handle in the middle. "Should we open it?" Jack asked, his voice full of excitement and a little fear. Emma nodded, taking a deep breath. "Let's see what's behind it," she said. She reached for the handle and turned it slowly. The door creaked loudly as it opened, making them both jump. On the other side, they saw a large room. It was dimly lit by a few candles that looked very old. "Whoa," Jack breathed. The room was filled with shelves, and on the shelves were jars, books, and strange objects. Emma stepped inside cautiously, pulling Jack along. "This must be some kind of old storage room," she said. Jack walked over to one of the shelves, his eyes wide. "Look at this." He picked up a small jar with a golden liquid. "What do you think it is?" Jack asked. The liquid shimmered in the dim candlelight. Emma shook her head. "I don't know, but be careful. We don't know how old this stuff is." Jack nodded and carefully put the jar back on the shelf. "This place is amazing," he whispered. Emma walked over to an old book lying on a table. It was covered in dust, but she could see the title faintly. "The Secrets of the Hidden Key," she read aloud, her eyes widening. "Jack, this book might tell us more." Jack hurried over, looking at the book with excitement. "Do you think it's about the key we found?" Emma carefully opened the book. The pages were yellow and fragile, filled with drawings and writing. "I think it is," she said, pointing at a picture of a key that looked exactly like the one they had found. Jack's eyes sparkled. "Maybe it will tell us where to go next." He looked at Emma, ready for more adventure. Emma smiled. "Let's read it carefully." "I think this is just the beginning." They sat down on the dusty floor, the mysterious book open between them, ready to discover its secrets. Chapter 3: The Secret Revealed. Emma and Jack sat cross-legged on the dusty floor, the book open between them. Emma carefully turned the pages, revealing old drawings and strange symbols. Jack pointed to a picture of a key that looked exactly like the one they had found in the attic. "That's it," Jack said, his voice filled with excitement. "It must be talking about our key." Emma nodded, reading the faded text beneath the picture. "It says the key opens something called the Chamber of Wonders." Jack's eyes widened. "Chamber of Wonders? That sounds amazing. I wonder what's inside." Emma smiled. "It says here that the chamber is hidden somewhere beneath this house. We have to follow the clues." Jack looked around the room. "Maybe the clues are here," he said, standing up and looking at the shelves. Emma joined him, her eyes scanning the shelves filled with jars and old objects. "We need to find something that matches the book." Jack picked up an old compass from one of the shelves. "Do you think this could be a clue?" Emma looked at the compass and then at the book. "Maybe. Let's see if there's anything about directions in here." She flipped through the pages until she found a drawing of the compass. "Look, it says the compass will point us to the chamber." Jack grinned. "Then let's follow it." He held the compass out, watching as the needle moved slowly. The needle pointed towards the far wall of the room. Jack and Emma exchanged glances. "Looks like we need to go that way," Emma said, her voice full of excitement. "Let's check it out." They walked over to the wall, examining it closely. Emma ran her fingers over the rough stone surface. "There must be something here," she murmured. Jack knocked gently on the wall, listening for a hollow sound. Suddenly, Jack's eyes lit up. "Emma, listen." He knocked again, and this time they both heard it, a hollow echo. Emma's heart raced. "There's something behind this wall," she said. "We need to find a way to open it." Jack looked around the room, his eyes falling on an old candlestick holder attached to the wall. "Maybe this is it," he said, reaching for the holder. He pulled it, and with a loud creak, the wall began to move. Emma stepped back, her eyes wide as a hidden door slowly opened, revealing a dark passage beyond. "Jack, you did it!" she exclaimed, her voice filled with amazement. "This must lead to the Chamber of Wonders." Jack beamed. "Let's go." He took Emma's hand, and together they stepped through the hidden door. The passage was narrow and dark, with stone walls on either side. Emma held her flashlight up, lighting the way. They walked slowly, the air growing colder as they moved further in. Jack shivered but kept going. After a few minutes, they reached another door, this one made of metal with strange symbols carved into it. Emma studied the symbols. "These are the same as the ones in the book," she said, tracing them with her finger. Jack nodded. "Then this must be it," he said softly. The Chamber of Wonders. Chapter 4. The Chamber of Wonders. Emma and Jack stood in front of the metal door, the strange symbols glowing faintly in the dim light. Emma took a deep breath and slowly pushed the door open. It creaked loudly, revealing a vast room beyond. Jack gasped as they stepped inside. The room was filled with shimmering objects, golden artifacts, and sparkling jewels. This is incredible," Jack whispered, his eyes wide as he looked around the Chamber of Wonders. Emma nodded, her eyes shining with amazement. It must have been hidden for hundreds of years. They walked further into the chamber, their footsteps echoing. There were shelves filled with old scrolls and books. Emma picked up one of the scrolls carefully. "Look, Jack, these writings are so old. They might tell us more about this place." Jack nodded, but his attention was caught by a pedestal in the center of the room. On it lay a small golden box. "Emma, look at this," Jack called, pointing at the box. It had intricate carvings and seemed to glow with a soft light. Emma put down the scroll and walked over to Jack. "It looks important," she said, examining the carvings. "Do you think we should open it?" Jack asked, his voice filled with curiosity and a bit of caution. Emma hesitated, then nodded. "I think we should. It might be the key to understanding this place." Jack carefully lifted the lid of the golden box. Inside, they found a small, glowing crystal. "Wow," Jack breathed. The crystal seemed to pulse with light, casting a soft glow around the room. Emma reached out and touched the crystal. The moment her fingers made contact, the room seemed to come alive. The walls began to shimmer, and the symbols on the door glowed brightly. A soft humming sound filled the air. Jack looked around in awe. "What's happening?" he asked, his voice filled with wonder. Emma smiled. "I think the crystal is unlocking the secrets of the chamber," she said, her voice full of excitement. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from the crystal, pointing towards a wall covered in old tapestries. Emma and Jack exchanged glances. "It's showing us something," Emma said. "Let's check it out." They walked over to the wall, and Emma pulled aside the tapestry. Behind it was another door, smaller and made of wood. "Another door?" Jack said, surprised. "How many secrets does this place have?" Emma laughed softly. "I guess we're about to find out." She reached for the handle and opened the wooden door. Behind the door was a small room, and in the center stood a pedestal with an old book resting on it. Emma walked over to the pedestal. "This book. It looks like it's the key to everything," she said softly. Jack joined her, looking at the book. "Do you think it will tell us about the crystal and the chamber?" Emma nodded. "Only one way to find out." She opened the book, revealing pages filled with glowing symbols. The symbols seemed to move and shift, forming words they could understand. Emma began to read aloud. "The crystal is the heart of the chamber," she read. "It holds the power to unlock all the secrets within." Chapter 5. The Final Secret. Emma and Jack looked at each other, the glowing book in Emma's hands lighting up their faces. "The crystal holds the power to unlock all the secrets," Emma repeated. "We have to use it properly." Jack nodded, his eyes still wide with excitement. "But what secrets? What does it mean?" Emma turned another page in the book. "It says here, there is a place called the heart of the chamber." Jack leaned closer. "Do you think we need to find that next?" Emma nodded. "It must be deeper within this place." She glanced around the small room they were in. Suddenly, the glowing crystal they had found in the golden box started to hum louder and shine even brighter. "Look!" Jack pointed. The crystal seemed to be reacting to something, as if guiding them. Emma held the crystal up, and it cast a beam of light towards the back of the small room, illuminating a hidden passage. "A hidden passage," Jack whispered. "We have to go in." Emma nodded, her heart pounding with excitement. They stepped through the narrow opening into the darkness beyond. The passage twisted and turned, leading them down into the depths of the chamber. The air grew colder with each step. After a while, they reached another door. This one was unlike any they had seen. It was made entirely of crystal. "This must be it," Emma said softly. "The heart of the chamber." The crystal in her hand pulsed with light. Jack reached out and touched the crystal door. It glowed brightly, and with a soft rumble, the door slowly opened. Inside, they found a beautiful room filled with light. At the center was a pedestal, and on it lay a larger crystal. "That must be the heart," Jack said in awe. The crystal seemed to radiate warmth and energy. Emma stepped forward and placed the smaller crystal on the pedestal beside the larger one. The moment the two crystals touched, the entire chamber filled with light, and the air hummed with power. Symbols began to appear on the walls, glowing brightly and shifting to form words they could understand. "It says that this chamber holds the knowledge of an ancient civilization," Emma read aloud, her voice filled with wonder. Jack looked around, his eyes wide. "This is amazing. We've discovered something incredible, Emma." Emma nodded, her eyes shining. "We have to make sure this knowledge is protected. It's too important." Suddenly, the larger crystal began to pulse, and a voice echoed through the chamber, a deep, calm voice. "You who have found the heart, you are now the keepers of our knowledge. Use it wisely," the voice said. Jack and Emma exchanged glances, their hearts pounding. "We're the keepers," Jack whispered in awe. Emma took a deep breath, her hand resting on the crystal. "We will protect it," she promised. The light in the chamber began to fade, and the voice spoke one last time. "Go now and share what is needed." With that, the crystal stopped glowing, and the chamber became still once more, leaving Emma and Jack in silence. Emma looked at Jack and smiled. "Let's go home. We have a lot to think about." Jack nodded, and together they walked back through the hidden passages, their minds filled with wonder and responsibility. As they stepped out of the chamber and into the attic once more, they knew their lives had changed forever.